in the county for everything. It's a end-to-end system from the time that they're booked or arrested till the time that the case is disposed of. Tyler system, it's called Enterprise, Justice Enterprise. It has modules for everybody involved in the process. And that's really good. And I can tell you that Webb County uses the same software system. So having the city go to the Tyler for the records management system is really, really important. So they're going to be able to extract data really quickly, do real-time analysis, share information with the jails. It'll help with philosophies such as DDAX or predictive analytics. The next pillar, Pillar 4, is actually community engagement. Well, it's community policing and crime reduction. A big portion of that is community engagement. I've listed some of the benefits of always improving on police-community partnerships. Certainly those benefits are it's a force multiplier. You gain volunteers and advocates. All the efforts go towards improving the quality of life in the community. The goals become shared responsibilities. Communication lines are open and they're transparent. Everybody gains a better understanding of diversity. Engagement efforts unite police officers in the community and kind of humanizes the profession. And I included some pictures that are in El Paso, some of our engagement efforts. The first one is, we offered COVID shots and booster shots to people in the county that couldn't otherwise get them. Below that, we offer alert training or active shooter training to anybody in the county that requests it. On the bottom right, we have coffee with a deputy, which I know you guys have coffee with a cop. That's what I used to have when I was actually a policeman. And then on the top, it's something we're really proud of in the jail. It's called our Imposters Program. And what we do with the inmates is, and it's community engagement, right? So any dog that's adopted, and if the owners take it back to the shelter, those are the only dogs that we'll accept. And we have the inmates train them up under the supervision of an animal welfare officer. And they train them in obedience. And once they're ready to be adopted, they adopt them out. And we have like 100% adoption rate. And I actually have one, and she's awesome. So a police dog, how funny is that? So this is just community engagement. Pictures continued. The top left, that was a chief in Harlingen, and it was some of our officers were waiters at Texas Roadhouse. And that was a rib eating contest, and I'm proud to say that I did not win. The much larger fire chief did. Good for him. The pictures on the right, we do the Blue Santa thing. We had many trailers, so we'll have like an angel tree. Officers will make donations. We buy toys for for families that are less privileged. We deliver them, and the only reason I put the article up there is because in Harlingen, it was really a traditional department. There was no community outreach. So we did it. The media was really responsive. The community was actually happy. And the reason I put the Peace Wave article is because I'm telling you that it's my opinion. That is all because of police community partnerships. Next is accreditation. I know the Laredo Police Department is pursuing that, the Texas Police Chief version. There's fantastic benefits to being accredited. One is it's enhanced reputation and public confidence. It simulates quality improvements, improves accountability and transparency, improves workforce capacity, ensures high quality service delivery, instills confidence in the employees, and it ensures citizen involvement in policy formulation. That's actually in Pillar 1 and Pillar 3 as well. I can tell you when I was in the El Paso Police Department, we were CALIA certified. I don't think they still are. When I was the chief in Iowa, we pursued CALIA certification. We're CALIA certified. When I went to New Mexico, we garnered a state certification, which is kind of like the Texas Police Chief Association. In our current sheriff's office, we are CALIA certified. We're actually advanced law enforcement certified. So, like I said, the initial CALIA certification there's 82 chapters and there's 183 standards. The advanced law enforcement certification is actually 463 standards, and really they're all outlined within those 6 pillars, and I think that's where law enforcement agencies got to go if they really want to be legitimate and successful. And the last picture is in Harlingen. We actually pursued the Texas Police Chief accreditation, and we were awarded it there. So I have experience in that as well. And then the last thing, certainly you want to have you want to maximize workforce potential. In order to do that, you have to have, and it happens to be Pillar 6, a really robust officer wellness and safety program. In El Paso, we have EAP, which is Employee Assistance Programs. We have peer support groups. We have a very large victim services contingent that not only services the public, they're also available for our officers and civilians alike. We have crisis intervention teams that we're really proud of, and what those are, we have 12 of them. So it's 12 deputies that patrol in a car that doesn't look like a police car, and they're partnered up with a clinician from our mental health authority. And they're not subject to call, but what they do is we actually have a clinician in our 911 center as well. So when they monitor calls and they determine that they're in fact a mental health issue, they'll send these guys, and their goal is to certainly mitigate the crisis, but to divert them from jail and get them the help they need. But those teams are also available to our officers and civilians alike. And the whole goal is to kind of take the stigma out of asking for help if you have a mental health issue. We're partners, and I don't know if that organization exists here, the Borderland 100. It's a private group that offers financial assistance, scholarships, and retraining. And that's a picture of our union president. In 2019, we had a really rough year. We had like a mass shooting at Walmart, and it killed 23 people. Our deputies responded. It was in the city, so the police responded, but our deputies responded too. Those guys see things you shouldn't have to see, so you need to have a really good officer wellness and safety program, because they see things they shouldn't see over and over. And then lastly, I would say that I'm certain that community policing is by far the most effective police service methodology available. And when you couple that with the 6 pillars of 21st century policing, the most legitimate as well. I have experience gained largely in a border community, having witnessed the positive impact of such initiatives, and I'm certain Laredo will quickly attain even greater success. So with that, I think it's 10 minutes, and hopefully I can answer any questions.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead. Mayor, City Council, I have a series of questions to ask Mr. Whitten, and then you can follow up with any other remaining questions. But Mr. Whitten, assuming that you are selected as the Laredo's next police chief, tell us your vision for what you want to do with the position and the Laredo Police Department.
So I would say, obviously, become a legitimate 21st century policing organization, and that initially requires significant public outreach, community engagement, engagement with the officers, the troops, to find out what in fact they view as obstacles to being as successful as these concepts demand you be. And I think it's the chief's responsibility, whomever that is, to ensure that in fact happens. And again, I think, all the experts that's out there in policing would agree that becoming a legitimate 21st century policing organization is the way to go. So certainly I would think that's my job, that's my responsibility, and that would be our number one mission.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
In your words, why have some people lost trust and confidence in the police, and what would be your plan to help build trust, especially in communities that may have the least amount of trust?
So again, I think that's an issue that's plaguing policing across the country. And it certainly got worse since the George Floyd incident. But having said that, I've been a police chief in several locales, some better than others. And I mean, when I say that, I mean some have public support, some don't. But I know that the way to garner that support is to take advantage of every effort that's in place to, in fact, engage with the community, and more so is to create those opportunities. Like I said, in Harlingen, we didn't have those at all, and in El Paso, as far back in the early 90s, we call them police area representatives, but we have one in every single district. We have 5 regions, 5 different huge stations that offer everything. And for example, just say there's 10 districts, and every one of these regions will have a PAR officer, which is a police area representative in all of them. And their job is to keep track of everything that's going on, to create opportunities for the chief or commander or whomever to go, because one of the pillars, community policing and community engagement, says that, and policy and oversight, that's pillar 2, says that the community can demand, the law-abiding community can demand or have a role in how they are policed, because every community is different, and community policing mandates that, and the accreditation process also mandates that you've reached out to your community. So, for example, you need to have citizen advisory boards or police chief advisory boards or whatever the case may be, but citizens have to have input. And when you're transparent and you actually have these police-community partnerships that are built on mutual trust and respect, and they're part of the process, the trust naturally grows.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Witten, what is the difference between policing the community and serving the community?